Hey everybody, welcome back to Windy City Live, and we have a very familiar face joining us. He has been on your television nonstop, our governor of Illinois, Governor JB Pritzker. Governor, thank you for taking the time.
I'm so glad to be here, Ryan and Val. Great to be with you.
Yeah, I gotta say, you must not be sleeping very much. What is a typical 24-hour period like for you these days?
Well, I get up pretty early anyway. That's my normal routine. So I'm up. My staff knows. They start to get texts from me at about 4:30 in the morning, and I don't expect them to be awake getting those texts, but they know when they wake up, they're sitting there. And then I get in the office usually about 8 or 9 o'clock. It depends on what I have going. But during that time in the morning, I'm really responding to emails and making phone calls. And making sure that I'm catching up on the news, of course. And then, I spend the day, we've got meetings in which we're evaluating where our biggest challenges are across the state and in which communities and where we can meet the needs that people have, including small businesses and communities of color and nursing homes and so many others. So that's kind of how my day goes. And then, I move into the late afternoon. Obviously, in the afternoons, I do my 2:30 press conference. I usually spend a little time prepping before that just to write out my remarks. And then, late in the afternoon, I have kind of business meetings all the way until about 6:30, 7 o'clock. And finally, I get home to see my family. So this is the greatest job in the world, but it's also pretty challenging at the moment.
You guys are doing a fantastic job. And you recently, earlier this week, laid out your plan, 5 phases, this plan. I want to know realistically, give us the best and worst case scenario for how this is going to work. You got people who are getting fatigue, quarantine fatigue. That's a real thing. And they're starting to bend the rules. And I know you're seeing that, you're hearing about that. What can you say to people to encourage them that this 5 phases will actually work?
Unfortunately, this virus is still out there. So to the extent that people just get up and go out and decide they're not going to follow any of the rules, guess what? More people are going to get infected. More people are going to end up in the hospital. So what we need people to do is follow the rules. What rules? Wear a face covering. Please wear a face covering. You're protecting everybody around you and they're protecting you. And especially if you're going to be anywhere within 6 feet of other people, if you're going to be in a crowd in any way, going to the grocery store, anywhere else, wear a face covering. That's the number one thing that you can do to protect yourself. Washing your hands, very important. Keeping that 6-foot distance, very important. So if we keep doing that during the month of May, we can open things up a little bit more because we'll bring that infection R naught down.
Right. It's not a black and white issue. We all want the economy open, but we all want our public safety and health. What's your reaction to other governors? And I hate that it's become so political. It seems like Republican governors want the economy open, and they know they've been told by medical experts that the numbers are going to skyrocket. And it's also going to affect our numbers and other states because of travel. What's your reaction to other governors, including our neighboring state, Indiana, opening up all of these businesses? Is it too soon? And what's it going to, what are going to be the repercussions?
Look, I don't think that it's appropriate for me to, really judge all these governors. What I can tell you is this, that we're listening to the science and thinking a lot about how do we reopen safely. And that's what we're doing. So our reopening plan does that. But I know what you're saying. It's become very, very political now. Republican governors seem to want to follow Donald Trump and seem to, be ignoring some of the science. Democratic governors are trying hard to maintain, the directionally appropriate kind of medical outcomes that we're getting, which are much better than they were, so that we can open up safely. That's the challenge between the two sides, I guess. But look, what I know is this, that Republicans and Democrats have been working together in Illinois. I talk to Republicans all the time. And yes, there are those who are, far out on the fringe, who attack me and, they want everything to open up tomorrow and they don't think everybody should wear a mask and they don't think, frankly, we should follow any of these rules. But the fact is that I don't get any joy out of this. I want people to go back to their regular lives. I want to go back to having a normal, everyday, regular life.
Governor, you mentioned President Trump, and I think it's safe to say that you are not fond of his actions all the time. And there's been an exchange of words through this whole pandemic. Where do you guys stand now? What is that relationship like right now?
Well, when I disagree with the president, when he's doing something that's bad for the people of Illinois, I'm going to say it and I'm going to do something about it. But when he's doing something that's helpful to the state, I'm going to call that out and say, that's terrific. Thank you very much.
Governor, we're running low on time, but we got to lighten it up a little bit here. Brad Pitt played Dr. Fauci on SNL. If you could pick anyone to play you, who is it? Because I think there's a correct answer.
Well, I have been told that people think that I look a little like Oliver Platt. Okay.
That's the correct answer. A little bit like Oliver Platt. You guys look like you could be brothers.
Well, he's a great actor and I admire him. So I think that's a wonderful thing. Meanwhile, if we all could agree on somebody that, maybe looks a little more like Brad Pitt, I would always appreciate that. But I'll take Oliver Platt.
Well, listen, Governor, I have to ask you, this quarantine has not been too kind to a lot of folks' diets. I'm included in that. I love a good snack. I got to ask you, you look like you might like a good snack too. What's your go-to snack?
Oh, God. Well, first of all, I'd like to say there are very few food items that I don't like. I think that's probably obvious to everybody. But I would say if there's a go-to thing, I'll admit that a chocolate chip cookie is, seems to be calling to me wherever it exists. It's calling to me and I want to go to it. So I guess I'll have to say chocolate chip cookies.
With or without nuts?
I prefer without nuts, but I am not that picky.
All right. What are you streaming? Have you seen Tiger King?
I did. I watched Tiger King. I've just finally gotten around to starting Last Dance. And I have to say that Tiger King, my whole family watched Tiger King separately. Each of us at different times because I get home late and I leave early. And so I fall asleep to these things. I turn them on and then, I get halfway through an episode. And of course, this is what I don't like about Netflix. It just keeps going, through the episodes. I'll be sleeping and it'll get to episode 4. I will have only watched half of one episode. So I don't like that very much.
We all have to wear our face mask. And now people are getting very creative with the face mask. If you could have a designer face mask, who would it be or what would it look like?
Well, first of all, it would make me look like Brad Pitt. But if I could wear enough of the mask to make me look like that. I guess I'm fond of a kind of a black mask. I have to say, I think it's kind of a cool look.
Yeah. All right. Finally, one last question, Governor. Are you jealous of the mayor's memes? And do you want to have some memes about you?
No, I think they've done a terrific job with those memes. And as you may know, we have our All In Illinois campaign, and I got to do a terrific video at Shed Aquarium with Wellington, the penguin. So really enjoy that. And we're trying to get the message out with Stars and others doing videos for All In. So you can find Chance the Rapper and lots of Illinois stars, as well as those around the country who've been wishing us well in Illinois. So I love anything that'll get the message out to people. But I want to thank you guys because, you guys it's a fun show, your show, and you also give just the right messages to people to let them know that, we're all in this together. And very importantly, if people will follow the rules and stay at home, we can get past this coronavirus and get on to finally getting back to some normal lives.
Well, Governor, as soon as we get on the other side of this and we get back in the studio at Windy City Live with our fantastic audience, we would love for you to be our first guest. Come on in and hang out. We'll have all the chocolate chip cookies you can imagine in the world, nice and warm. Do you like milk with your cookies?
Yes, but listen, that'll be the time when I really need to take those chocolate chip cookie pounds off.
We'll worry about that later.
We'll do a workout segment in the show, too. You can stick around for that.
Perfect. I'll need that.
Well, we'll let you go, Governor. We know you got a busy day. Thank you for taking the time.